Hey guys, it's Manda. So, I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea about what my channel is about. So, I'm going to take my time and excuse the Hot Mess Express, but I'm going to take the time on my videos to kind of talk to you about the moments of my life regarding traveling, culture, language, just different things that I have found to be valuable in life as not only a military brat, but a military spouse, and also having grown up as a State Department kid. So I've had some unique experiences for some people. For some people, that's pretty normal. But I kind of want to give a forum and a ability to talk about some of my experiences and kind of let other people share their experiences from their travels around the world. So, for you guys who don't personally know me, my family and I are originally from the US, um, and we are a traveling family. So, let's put it that way. So, my husband is in the military. And he's originally from Vietnam, but claims Ohio as home. Being an Army diplomat brat, I have moved my whole life and really don't have a home that I claim other than just the US in general. I graduated high school from Beijing, so in China, so that was pretty awesome. But right now, we are currently in South Korea. It's really awesome. We're so excited to be here. It's our kids' first experience outside of the United States that wasn't Canada. I've spent some time in Canada, like in Montreal, but not like legitimately out of the North American continent. So now they're in the continent of Asia and they're very excited. So they're getting to learn some stuff. So as they learn stuff and we learn stuff, because we always learn stuff, we thought we would share some of our fun with you. So, being a military family during a time of COVID-19 coming to South Korea meant that when we got here, we got off the plane, we had to be swabbed up the nose for the COVID test, and then we were sent immediately to quarantine barracks. So, for those of you who aren't sure quite what barracks are like, think of kind of like a dorm room. We were kind of in a four-person dorm room, sharing our room, having four twin beds, having a little kitchenette, and we spent our 2 weeks there. We were there for 15 days technically, so we were released on day 15. 3 days after we got in, we had to stay inside. Then we got to go outside to play for a little while. So we would get what they call yard time, and that was for 45 minutes a day. Masks had to be on. We had to maintain the 6 feet of distance as much as possible. We were escorted out of our rooms and escorted back to our rooms. And then about 3 days before we left, we were given another COVID test, and our yard time was no more. And it's for our safety and for everybody else's safety. They did a wonderful job of doing it. But we got out of quarantine a week ago. A week ago. Yes, freedom. So it was kind of interesting to be like, hey, we've been in Korea since the 15th of June. Yeah. But it's kind of weird when you're sitting in quarantine for those 15 days because you're in Korea, but you don't feel like you're in Korea. You have no Korean won, you have no Korean experience, you haven't said, 안녕하세요 to anybody, you haven't thanked anybody, said hello, that's 안녕하세요. Please forgive my Korean. Still learning, literally have been out of quarantine. Not quite a week yet because tomorrow is Monday. So, it's kind of a limbo land. You don't really get to know what it's like to be in Korea until you get out of quarantines. And the yard time is wonderful, but it's also such a tease because you're like, I see it. I see Korea, but I'm not yet a part of it. It was my Disney moment of being Ariel. I want to be a part of their world. So now we're out and we found a car, we found a house, and or a villa, I should say. So what we've discovered here is that an apartment and a villa are very similar. So what I would call an apartment is pretty much any kind of high rise that has housing in it. So if you're in a villa, I guess it means you're on the bottom floor and you have a yard and there's nobody else on that floor with you. Still learning. So one of the things that we have discovered is that if you want to, get some Korean won, you can always go to the bank, change out your USD for Korean won. So USD. But one of the best things to do is take your USD, and go out on the local economy. It's not a massive difference, but you can change that USD into Korean won. So the biggest thing about it is it may only be, tw 10 cents, 20 cents difference, but when you're pulling out per dollar, but when you're pulling out so many dollars worth, I mean, hey, that can be extra money. And I think that's a really awesome opportunity, and I'm cheap. Let's be honest. Well, let's not say cheap. Let's say I am financially respectful of even the pennies and the dimes in my life. So we've gotten to enjoy some Korean won, which I'm going to show you a couple of different kinds of Korean won. So the one that you just saw was 50,000 won, which is equivalent of about 50 US dollars, a little bit more, maybe like 52. So not a big difference. So this is about 10,000 won, or about, like $10. This is 1,000 won, so like about a buck. And then they also have Korean coins, which they don't seem to use a whole lot of. I mean, it happens from time to time if you're at a convenience store. And the biggest convenience stores here are CU, GS25, and 7-Eleven. So yeah. So these are what the coins look like. So you've got, as I'm dropping coins everywhere, you've got like your 500 one, which is like 50 cents, your 100 one, which is like, 10 cents worth. And that's very interesting. And then my favorite, I'm not going to lie to you, my favorite of all the one, because I think they're really adorably cute, are these like 10 won. They're teeny tiny. It's got to be like a penny's worth. Um, so it's really cute. I really love them. I don't know why. And they don't feel like US coins at all in terms of the pennies, at least, or the 10 won. It feels very different. They're much lighter and feel thinner, but they're really, I just like them. I think they're adorable. Don't like them, I don't care. Anyway, that being said, what it is, here in Korea, tap water is great for many things. Drinking, not so much. So tap water is not really something that we drink here a lot of in Korea, as I have discovered, which is good for me because I grew up mostly not drinking tap water. So I don't usually drink tap water even in the US. I try to do bottles, try to use reusable bottles when I can, but yeah, I've been known to get regular bottles. Korea is very, very big about recycling here. So if it can be recycled, you have to recycle it. If you don't, you can be fined or they can refuse to pick up your garbage. So here in Korea, the big thing that we've noticed with trash is they have designated colors for trash bags. And so like where we live and where we're going to be living in Pyeongtaek, yellow is the color for your food and waste. So what they expect you to do here is that when you have food waste, you eaten dinner, you've decided you don't want to keep leftovers, drain out the liquid, put in the food into a bag, and then they take that bag and supposedly they give it like a slop for pigs and things like that, compost it. So that's really good. They do recycle all these things. So they recycle glass, cans, like soda cans, steel, or like Chef Boyardee cans if you eat Chef Boyardee, or like chili cans if that's what you eat. They recycle glass, paper, plastic. Like if it can be recycled, if it has a recycling mark on it anywhere, it can be recycled. They want you to recycle it. So it's pretty awesome. They're very, very big into recycling here. I'm totally for that. One of the big things that we have found, food is delicious. Barbecue, Korean barbecue, just called barbecue when you're in Korea. It's fun. It's a lot of, and it's really delicious. We like it. It's enjoyable. My kids like the fact that they can cook their own meat. Just gonna tell them not to say anything bad about it. I think it's great for their independence. Cook your own food, cook your own meat several times. Not so much fun. Like at a Korean restaurant, Korean barbecue, I'm sure it is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. It's not a big deal, but when you're cooking at home for masses of people, not quite the same kind of fun. So I guess it's that dining out experience that makes it more fun. One of the other things that we have found is Chilsung cider. Okay, so guys, if you want to know what Chilsung cider tastes like, it is a Korean caffeine-free drink because I don't drink caffeine. But it is a Korean caffeine free drink by, I think, Lotte. I think that's how you say that. I think if you can see that there, the Lotte. Um, Basically, it tastes like Sprite, but it is a lot cleaner, and it even says pure, clear, caffeine free, which is nice. The reason I say it tastes clearer and cleaner is the fact that because it's not made with high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, it is made with sugar, so it doesn't have that kind of syrupy like consistency that I sometimes get in the back of my throat when I drink it. Not saying that it's any healthier. I don't know that it is or isn't, but I just know it doesn't clog up my throat the same way, so I personally really like it. I think it's even better than Sprite. Because it's that same flavor. It really is. It tastes the exact same to me, but it just doesn't have that syrupy effect of like I like the syrupy taste, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm against high fructose corn syrup. I don't think it's necessarily the healthiest of options. I prefer not to do it if I don't have to, but I'm not gonna lie, it does taste kind of good. But I would say having this Chilsung as an option, I like it better. I think it's a better choice in my life personally. No judgment on anybody else, just my life. Um, Also, we had the 4th of July here yesterday. Celebrated it on post, which was really awesome. Got to see all sorts of fireworks, all sorts of fun. But while I was going around, I got to meet a lot of organizations. And I'm not sponsored by anybody for any of this. I'm not sponsored by Chilsing or anything like that. It's just personally what I've discovered since I've been here. So there is this Pyeongtaek International Exchange Foundation, PF, I think is how they call it because they call it PIEF. It's pretty cool. What they do is they try to do international exchange, obviously, as it says in the foundation, to get those of different ethnicities, languages, countries all to get together and learn from one another. You can, for me, it's going to be really great because I'll get an opportunity to meet local Koreans who are going to help me try to learn how to speak Korean because I'm in Korea, guys. I'm going to really, really need that. But it's pretty cool. I really like it. One of the other things that we have noticed is that here is a very big walking culture. So a lot of pedestrians, a lot of walking, a lot of public transportation, which I love. I'm very for that. I think it's a lot of fun. So we've gotten to ride buses. We haven't tried the train yet. We really, really want to try the train and the subway because my son, my youngest, is like so for it, you guys. So for the train. We're super excited about the train. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. Um, we are actually in the process of moving into our house tomorrow. Yay! 1 week out, and we're already got a house, a car, and we've already made a run to the Costco. That's right, guys. There are Costcos here in South Korea. There are 3 Costcos near us, and a IKEA. So I can get lost with my Swedish meatballs if I so desire, or I can take a run to the Costco. It is very, very friendly there. Everybody's very helpful. One of the things we have noticed is everybody is very appreciative. If you try, at the very least, try to speak the language of what you know and try to follow some of the customs and cultures of the country. So, as being a part of this country, during a time of COVID, I had some friends ask some questions. So, here are the answers to the questions that I've been asked. 1, yes, masks are still required. So, when we are on post, one of the big things is we have the rule that if you have to mime the meter or stay 6 feet apart, so 2 meters or 6 feet apart. If you can do that, you can go around without having to wear a mask. If you are going to be somewhere like a store or a building where you're going to be within that 2 meters of somebody, you need to mask up. Now, when you're outside in Korea proper, you are asked to always wear a mask. So, as trying to be good guests in our host nation, we do our very best to always wear a mask unless we are actively eating or drinking. Those are kind of their rules. Even during church service, got to mask up. Another thing is that yes, during this time of COVID, there is a lot of hand washing that needs to be done. Now, Korea has been great about this. No matter what restaurant you go to, they always seem to have hand sanitizer at the front where you're either ordering your food. There's hand sanitizers at the table. There's people constantly trying to clean up after everybody. You clean up after yourself here. That's a very big thing. But if there are people trying to sanitize tables behind you, if you use a table here on post, they have little cards you can flip over to say it's been used. That way they can resanitize it. And if you're off post, they're actually really good about kind of quickly coming behind you to clean up. And again, there's that hand sanitizer on the table, hand sanitizer everywhere, even in the elevators, guys. They have zip tied hand sanitizer to the rails that are in the elevators so that you can push the buttons, sanitize your hands, get off without having to touch too much, which is great. It's very awesome. They fill them. I've never seen it run out. I've never even seen that hand sanitizer come close to running out. And I know people are using it like crazy. So that's been really awesome. Public transportation here is amazing. You have taxis, you have buses, you have trains, you have subways. You can use your car to get around. There's a lot of things in the area, so you can walk because it is really good about that. There are lots of cafes, there are markets, there are shops. I mean, just about anything you can think of, guys. It's here, at least in this area, which is really great for us. Now, we are not in Seoul. We are south of Seoul, and it's probably, I want to say, a 45-minute drive if you're driving. We are not currently allowed to go to Seoul, Army regulations, so we can't do it, but not a bad deal at all. We are definitely trying to stay within the guidelines of what we've been given. My husband has gotten his Korea driver's license, which is really cool. I'm working on getting mine. They have made it now where you can get your driver's license online. And that's provided you already had a driver's license from elsewhere, at least for U.S. service members and their dependents, which is pretty cool. On top of that, we have been spending a ton of time just checking out different restaurants, from barbecue places to Mexican restaurants to Katusa snack bars, and which are like Korean restaurants for Katusas. So Katusas are Korean military that work with the U.S. military, for those of you who don't know what a Katusa is. They're very friendly, they're very nice, and it's pretty cool to see all of them walking around. They're very helpful with helping us figure out what it is that we need to do in Korea, and are really good and very patient with us and trying to teach us a lot of the culture. So, that being said, what are some of the big things that you need to know about Korea? Well, for the first week, we have discovered a few things. One is never point. Pointing is considered really rude, and so you shouldn't do it. It actually makes it seem accusatory and kind of upsetting for people. So you should always try to point by using open hand, palm up. This is a way of directing a person to whatever it is that you're talking about without seeming rude, like you're pointing at someone. Additionally, don't point at anything with your feet. It's considered rude because it's like you don't have enough respect for that person to actually use your hand. So you always want to show people the utmost respect. 2, when handing anybody anything, you either need to use both hands like this, or you need to the Americanized way is what I was told, but I've seen Koreans do too, where you hand something, but you need to put your other hand underneath. This is a way of showing respect as you hand things or receive things. It's just a way of showing respect and being common courtesy and politeness in Korea. So definitely make sure you do that. 3, always make sure to say hello and thank you. It's very difficult, I know, when you learn a new language, but some of the biggest things are saying hello, goodbye, and thank you. Even in France, we learned that was the biggest thing. As long as you said hello, thank you, and goodbye, everybody seemed to be pretty okay with the fact that you may not be a fluent French speaker. But here in Korea, it's the same. As long as you say hello, goodbye, and thank you in Korean, people are pretty good about helping you out with anything else. They just want to know that you're making an attempt at their language and at their culture, which I think is pretty cool. When you do go ahead and thank somebody for something, you should bow, and try to bow at least with your kind of like, a semi bow with your head at the very least. Always try to be facing the person, not have your body turned to one side or another. And it's even more helpful if you can put your hands kind of clasped together, but you don't have to do that. It's just kind of a way of showing respect and thank you. It's kind of like, when we're in the streets and we're like, thanks, and you walk out. So instead of lifting your head up, just bow your head down. It's a really easy, simple thing to do. Okay? One more thing that I think everybody should be really aware of is that here in Korea, tipping is not a thing. You don't tip, but you do need to clean up after yourself. So remember how we talked about the trash rules? If you're going to throw out trash, you have to do it in a certain way at your home. Well, those same restaurants and different establishments that you will frequent that you may end up with trash at, you have to follow the same kind of rules. So they will have a way for you to do everything that you need to do to clear your table. So make sure you clear your table behind you. Follow the rules. When you get over to the trash area, they'll have a place for you to dump liquids if you have liquid. They'll have a place for your trash, place for recyclables, and some restaurants even have a place where you can put like ketchup packets you didn't use, which I think is pretty awesome. It's really simple. I think they try to make everything as user-friendly here as possible. And understand that everybody is going to have varying degrees of comfort when it comes to coming to a foreign country. But as long as you give your very best and just try, most people are really willing to help you out. That's the reality. If you respect their culture, you try to maintain their version of whatever politeness is, because there's different versions for every country and every culture, and even in the U.S., depending on where you are, certain places it's not okay to honk your car horn. Certain places it is. So just keep that in mind. Everybody's a little bit different. As long as you try your best to respect the culture and the common courtesies of the area that you're in and try to speak the language, most people are pretty helpful. And it's actually really nice. We got here and we had some friends who helped show us around and introduce us to some of the local people who are very, very kind and very helpful. And even those that we weren't introduced to have been extremely helpful along the way, even at like the Costco. So the Costco was its own experience, but it was like everybody there was super helpful. They tried to give us the English versions of things if they had it. If they didn't, they did try to find somebody who could help us and help us understand with gestures as best they could if they didn't know the words. We tried our best to do the same. Now, we don't speak nearly as much Korean as they do English, but we're learning. I think that's one of the most awesome things about this experience is that we're getting to learn along the way. So, as we learn about Korea and we find out new things, we'll let you guys know. Keep an eye out. Every once in a while, we'll share a video outside. One of the things that we try to do, because we're still in lodging right now, but we will be outside soon. Once we are, we will try to share videos of our experiences in and around Korea, but we also have to remind ourselves of everybody's privacy because here, privacy is a little bit different. So, in the US, if I want to film a video and just show everybody, it's not really a big deal unless someone asks me not to. In Korea, they try to maintain a lot more privacy by saying, please don't film people without their consent. So we try to do our best to make sure that if we film somebody, we blur their face, just so we're not intruding in anybody's privacy. So other than that, hey, welcome to week 1 of our adventures in Korea, and I hope you guys have fun. If you guys have any information about any world travels anywhere around the world, let us know. We'll continue to tell you about Korea, and each week I'll update you with either something going on in Korea, and I'll try to make another video about telling you a little bit about another location that myself or my spouse has been to. So that way we can kind of teach you a little bit about our experiences traveling the world and some of our own culture. Share with us what you know about your culture and where you think we should visit. We're going to take some time while we're here in Korea and try to visit as many countries, especially in the Asian region, as possible. So tell us, where should we go? What should we see? And what should we know when we get there? Have you been to Korea? What do you know about it? Tell us what we need to know. And if anybody can teach me some bargaining skills in Korea, I need to know them. I was great at bargaining in China, but I had the vocabulary for it. So somebody help me with my Korean vocabulary for bargaining for great deals at the markets. All right, guys, until next time, this is Amanda signing off for Amanda's Moving Moments. Bye, guys.